welcome you here to the wedding of Miriam and Garrett. Welcome, all of you. You know, this is such an amazing event for me because for this last year since I heard about this wedding coming, it's been sort of an opportunity to look back on the past and to also think about this day with this incredible gathering. And Miriam and Garrett have so many dear friends. And all of you came all this way. It's just extraordinary. And I think this is even better than Obama's economic stimulus package in Colorado. You really have done a great job. But seriously, you know, I started thinking back to my experiences with Miriam because I don't know Garrett, getting to know her. And my first experience, of course, was her birth, which was a cesarean birth. And the doctors gave me Miriam to hold. And it was an amazing experience for me. I was totally changed as a human being because I fell in love with this human being, this child. And then what happened was the nurses came to clean stuff out of her nose, clean her stuff, and I wouldn't let her go. I was pretending sort of like a basketball player coming down with a rebound. And it was like, no, no. And Mary is recovering from the cesarean. She's saying, David, you don't know anything about babies. Give her to the doctors. You were up there. So anyway, it was such, it was a total change in my life. As she got older, we would stroll her around Ashland. By the way, you don't know that Miriam grew up in Ashland. You all think she grew up in Denver. But for her first 11 years, she was in Ashland, Oregon. And Mary and I would walk her down the street in her little stroller, and she had these like Shirley Temple curls, these bright eyes, and people would stop us. And they would want to know who this child was. It was amazing. And it was amazing. She was amazing. She was just full of brightness and light. Anyway, she started school. She started public school. She went to kindergarten. And she would wear these long dresses. And she wore 5 or 6 necklaces. And all this other stuff. And she loved her school chums. She loved the kids in school. And what happened was she just built a circle of friends, kind of like what she went on to do later in her life. And at a certain point, one day, we got a free pass for a pony ride. And Miriam went on this pony ride, and she was in this little enclosure in this circle, and went around and around, oh well, whatever, let's get through this. And Miriam was on this horse, and she's concentrating, and she's just looking at this horse and saying, you know, I think we should take her out of the enclosure and let her ride this horse. And they took her out, and there was this long stretch, and they let her go. There was nobody with her. And she took the horse all the way down the stretch, down past the trees, and back around, and she got back to us, and she was still totally concentrated on this horse. Well, needless to say, she took up horse riding. And she was at the stable 3, 4, 5 times a week. And what was more impressive than just learning how to ride and dressage and all the amazing stuff about that was the relationship she had with her friends. And she had this circle of girls that she knew at the barn. And they all loved each other. They all respected each other. And one day I'm driving along in my car, and I was running this festival or whatever, some business. I said, Miriam, how is it that you get along so great with these kids? What's it all about? And I expected some kind of kid response from this. She said, well, you know, when I'm at the barn and someone says, tomorrow I can't be there, can you muck out my stable for me? Can you clean up all the horse poop and get some fresh hay and put it down? She said, if I say I'm going to do that, I do it. I never let them down. They know who to trust. And another thing, if I ever have a conflict with somebody, I take them aside and say, listen, you know, I just need to work this out. But I've been upset about this thing, and it's just, you know, it's just my feelings. And so I said, wait a minute, I'm driving the car. And I get this pad out, and I'm writing these numbers. Because I don't know any of this stuff in management practice. And she's telling me, I'm writing notes down. I don't know where that paper is. There were 5 things. I remember 2 of them, which is probably why I'm not as successful as I could be if I had written all that down. But you know, there was one that she didn't say, and I think it's one of the most important, and that is, you know, when Miriam really wants to do something, she does it. I mean, if she wants to go to Yale, she does it. And if she wants to work at Goldman, she's going to work at Goldman. They don't know it yet. You know, if she wants to be with Garrett,
He never had a chance.
but she had something that she didn't say, and that is, but I will never step on somebody to do this. And I remember when she was at CA, she wanted to run for student office. And all these friends of hers were running for president. And she said, I don't want to compete with my friends. I'd like them to run. She said, but you know, I discovered that no one was running for vice president. So I put my name in. And she ran unopposed. Who would run against Miriam? So she became, is that right? Do I have it right? I do have it. Oh, I was afraid that some of this wouldn't be true. It's close enough. Anyway, those were the values. Those were the values. And I think the most important thing was this thing about not stepping on people, that she really cares so much about her family. And, you know, I really don't know where to go at this point with this talk, because really what wells up for me is how much I love Miriam, and how much I care for her, how importantly the slightest criticism from her can slay me. You know, anybody else, you know, they could fire me, they could sue me, they could do whatever, it's done, it's water off the duck's back. But, you know, the slightest intonation from Miriam of something not being right, that's the only thing I can slay. Or unless it came from the Bible. But this is such an important occasion, because what happened was over the last few years is that Miriam made this connection with Garrett. And every time we got together, we went to Broadway show, and I discovered Garrett had been on stage at Broadway shows, and I figured, oh. So more and more I started to see what a terrific person this is. And when finally Miriam and he moved in together, it was just a wonderful, wonderful moment. And so what I want to do is all of you feel this connection with these 2 wonderful, wonderful people. All these people who feel like Garrett is their best friend in the world. And there's so many. It's just such an amazing thing. I mean, I always thought Gil was my best friend. That was it. I only had one best friend. There's Gil. But Garrett has like 40, 50 people who he's their best friend. And he is. Because he's there for all of them. He has such a huge capacity. And maybe he can handle it. With all that capacity for love and care. And so also all of the folks that I met here, all of the groomsmen and all the other friends, and I mean, it's just such a thing. And his family, extraordinary family, brothers and sisters, all of the connection they have with Garrett, he is definitely the gem. So I'd like us all to raise our glasses and toast Miriam and Garrett and apologize for my long